Have you ever gone for Mass, done everything right, but you still end up walking out feeling absolutely nothing? No peace, no comfort, no fire. And today, we stay with that question. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 3. What do we feel when we go to Mass? So do we actually feel it here when we attend Mass? Let's ask Elliot, Paula, and Nataniel. So today, when was the last time you went for Mass and you felt empty?
Many times. It's many times that I face this kind of struggle. Too much of this week, but then losing focus on God. I feel really left out on this very quickly.
What about you, Paula?
Sometimes there's so much going on in the week that I catch myself overthinking during the main moment of the Mass and not be focused or having lost the first scripture and so on, the first reading and so on. So this is, for me, I changed my attitude. I try to capitalize on this hour in the week. Just telling to myself, I'm so busy every day for the week for many things. I need to dedicate Lord 1 hour. So I need to capitalize and give Him my attention, because this is just to give Him my attention, heart and mind. And this is the least I can do for Him, right? So I try to discipline myself into this. Of course, it's an exercise depending on what's going on in our life. Sometimes you can have 100% of attention. Other times I just get some moments when I wake up. But for sure, one moment I try to stay connected is when there is the Holy Eucharist there, because it's really the time when I really need to connect. A miracle is happening, and we need to be in that church, in those walls, and I need to realize that and focus on that.
I can imagine being a catechism teacher. There's a lot of pressure on you because you have the young ones looking up to you in terms of how do you connect in Mass and everything. Do you struggle with that?
For me, it's more of silence. So you can go to Mass, you can participate in ministries, but that silence from God it brings you into emptiness.
Some might say, right, if God is truly present in the Eucharist, why do we feel disconnected, or shouldn't we always feel something when we go for Mass? Shouldn't we always feel moved at every celebration of the Eucharist?
In my experience, actually, we all learn about the Mass, the scriptures, and the Eucharist during our early years of childhood. I think there is a time where I found out a different experience to be more connected in the very recent years, when I came through understanding a little bit more about what is the Mass, what is happening. So, for instance, I heard a lot through my sons, actually, the Saint Carol Acutis. Actually, this is a teenager, 15 years old saint that actually did on internet an exhibition about the miracles of Eucharist. And if anyone wants to see it, they understand what's really happening. And so it's very hard. Once you discover this, you don't remind this in the very moment the miracle happened. Or I also find out a mystic, Santa Caterina, is a mystic, Caterina Rivolta. She wrote, based on the revelation of Mother Mary, of what's really happening in Mass. We have the participation really of all the saints, of our beloved ones, which are passed after, but they are there in that very moment. Mother Mary is there. There is participation of guardian angels. All of us are there. We can't hear, we can't see, but doesn't mean that God is not there. We are just disconnected. So for me, it's not a matter to have God is not there. I'm not there. It's not the question is not why God is not talking to me, why I'm not opening my heart, I will not putting myself in synchronize on His ways, and open my heart and catch and capitalize on this hour where, hey, I'm here, I listen to you, I hear you, tell me everything I need to tell me. And this is the approach I changed. The emptiness goes away, because for me it's okay, I have this chance on Sunday morning to just get over all my concern, main decision I need to take for the next week, any specific interview, difficult conversation. That's the moment I say, Lord, talk to me. Let me understand how to, and perhaps I don't receive the answer, but at least I have that peace in my heart and say, okay, and you contextualize these things. So for me, the question is emptiness or disconnection all depends from ourselves. How do we approach the Mass? How do we go there? Think about the fact this is the only last chance you have to talk to Him.
Even though we have so many things in life and we are so like too much of work and all, but we should also focus on God, like pray every time and make sure we do not feel left out or something, because the more we feel left out, it's like we will feel left out. I don't know how to explain this, but I think you understand in a way what I'm saying. But yeah, so that's.
So Paula, you mentioned that it's our responsibility to show up for Christ with our full hearts every Sunday, right? Is there anything in particular that you or your family you practice in Mass to better connect yourself with Christ?
Yeah. So during the moment of the Eucharist moment, right? In when there is the celebration, this is something that my kids picked up very quickly, because they always ask question, what should I do? What should I say? What should I pray? Actually, you just have to be there and look at what's happening in the altar. Be aware you need to offer in that moment. I told them, tell your guardian angel to offer your concern, spell them out, your problem, whatever. Is bringing this moment to the altar. And so they picturing this, they remember in that moment they need to offer the things to God, and so be present in that moment. So I think this is a good guidance for them and for me to stay focused in that moment, because you are offering to God, you are using that specific, the miracle moment, right? The miracle time to ask your prayer, to ask your guardian angel to physically present them to the altar. It's a moment to stay connected with what's happening, right? And I think this is a little advice that we all can take on.
How about you, Matt? Like, do you feel the same way? Is there anything in particular that you practice in Mass to better bring yourself closer to Christ?
I mean, I practice try not to sleep, but yeah, I think Father Paul always mentions active listening. So sometimes you listen and then after 10 minutes and then you're just going with the flow. But active listening is something it takes some time to master, but that's what I'm trying to do during Mass.
I will try not to get distracted in anything as to other things, what's happening. Like anything that's stuck in my mind, I will forget about it, because when I know Mass is going on, I should be like, focusing on that and not get distracted. So
Something personal that I practice is that every time after I receive the Eucharist, I say the Anima Christi, because sometimes it's so easy. That's the most special moment in the Mass between you and Christ. And during that time, it's so easy to lose track of what you're supposed to say, or you're caught up with, oh, I have school tomorrow, I have work tomorrow. There's so many things running through your mind. But when you have this, it becomes sort of like a somewhat of a checkpoint with God. So that's something that I practice to better connect with God every Eucharistic celebration. How do you prepare your heart before Mass even begins, in terms of not just physically but more emotionally, spiritually? Do you practice anything in particular? How about you, Elliot?
see that I will just come in and pray first before usually I will always pray first before Mass begins. Just take about 2-3 minutes to pray, or I'm not sure how long as I pray, but I would always pray before Mass, before doing my duty first.
I feel like I'm reaching out, but I still feel God is silent. But I think recently I had an experience with Sister Rita. I think it was a couple of months back. She needed to go somewhere, and then she asked me to drive her, and so happened I was available, and then I had this journey with her. And on the way, I was just telling her, like, I feel silent, and I feel like I'm reaching out, but God is not there. And then she phrased it in a way where she said something similar to this. It says, it's not God's absence is not because He's silent. It's His call for you to grow deeper. So it's your responsibility to journey and search, go deeper into spirituality, not just serving, serving and maybe you're more active, but try and join other groups that deepen your spirituality, like the prayer ministry, CCR.
So go there with the mindset and approach that I want to capitalize on this. I don't want God to, warn me because I was not attentive at least 1 hour. And this is the thing that I repeat to my sons. They are teenagers. Hardly come on Sunday. They don't want to wake up early in the morning, but I oblige them and say, hey, you are playing video games all the week. You want to give an hour to your God and thank? So we do this, and at least by the exercise of discipline, they start behaving. And in the future, from a routine, it will become a need. So I think the question is, do you open your heart and you try to stay connected?
I think in a lot of ways, we should all give ourselves a little grace, because in the eyes of God, we are all God's children. And instead of being so hard on ourselves that we feel like, oh no, we're going for mass, we're not praying hard enough, we tend to be very hard on ourselves actually. But I think God sees our heart, which is the most important thing, and I think we tend to lose sight of that. And at the end of the day, the most important thing is showing up for God.
For me, I think it's so much of a challenge that because I think Paula also can relate, because we're both catechists, and being a catechist doesn't mean you know everything about every single thing that's written. It's hard because sometimes you're going through something personal with God, you're angry with Him or you're frustrated with Him, and then you have to teach about Him to students. Like, how can you get them in tune and tell them, hey, God is great, God is good, when you are going through something, when you're just pissed off at Him, Yeah, so going through, I think keeping yourself, your own personal prayer life, as Elliot also mentioned, like just taking time for yourself, just quiet time with you and God is also very important. So you don't project your anger towards Him when you're teaching students.
You need to also come to terms that God in His time. No, you don't even understand everything right now about yourself, about your faith, about your life. You can't figure it out ever, even if you live 100 years. God knows. So you really need, for us, it's just to instill them the trust and the faith, help them to understand that no matter what, God will provide for them in His time. And have that patience and endure through the troubles, and not thinking that if something happened, God is punishing them or losing faith. For us as teachers, this is important, because I've seen and we see many people that they are attending to the mass and come to the parish, and then when something happened, a loss or parents divorce and so on, they stop going to the parish and mass. But that's your hope, that's your anchor, that's the things you need to hang in there to survive and to endure, and not just dismissing. And the same thing happened with the mass. You don't have to say, I have no time because nothing happens to me, I don't go to mass. If this happens to you, you need to endure and you need to discipline yourself and go, because sooner or later, every time you go to mass, I was told, every time you have your host, God is working in yourself. So you cannot do, you can't control, you don't know, but you need to let it happen.
Silence doesn't mean His absence. yourself to go deeper.
Stop having all these worries on like this issue in your personal life. Okay, take a few moments to pray, like be in silence, close your eyes, and focus to God. And these kind of various events, like mostly it's prayer events, are really beneficial for you, as they can also be in silence with God, so they can also attend. So in a way, we closer to God and share their problems.
My advice would be choose a saint or an guardian angel or the Mother Mary and ask their help to open your heart and to increase your faith every day. This might be because alone we cannot make it.
Thank you so much for joining us on this journey, and we'll see you again